Well, hello, hello, hello to anybody out there in the world. Miss Linda Barker, right on time. How you doing? Well, it is 3:30 for me. We are out here in Pacific time, out here in Washington State. And like it says there, the votes are in. People, I put it out there. People, made the choice. I think they made the easiest choice for something to make. But hey, that's part of the fun of doing this type of this format. You know, so like it says there on the screen, pork fried rice with pork belly, onion, carrot, egg, and a touch of whimsy. I supplied the whimsy. Well, I supplied all of it, so there you go. But we're going to do another simple recipe. It's nothing that requires a lot of technique, just an understanding of what you're doing. As it, and here we go. So we got Linda Barker, Trucker Girl Kiana. Always a pleasure to have you back. Oh, good. Well, hopefully he's riding safe all the way there, because I know Serafina, I think you said for 240 hours. So, and then, boyfriend's going to be finishing his thing. Then you guys are going to get together, to team. And then after that, then you can get Serafina back on the truck. So hopefully that all works out. Organization. I would recommend for that. You have to drive like a flatbedder, because you're going to have to make more frequent stops with the pet, but you know that. Another person there has to take that into account as well. Especially, well, maybe not so much a person who's driving at night mostly, but I'm pretty sure you guys are going to figure that out. Margaret Clark, how you doing? Hopefully you're feeling better. So we got 6 people watching. I think we got one person on Facebook. So we got total 7 people in. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So made my little list here, and you can see my little marks here. Let me there was one more vote that came in later, so I'll mark that down. So we put out there the rest of the meals that we were going to try to make according to your guys' votes. So number 1, chili. Standard chili with I like mine with kidney beans, ground beef, some bell pepper, tomatoes, beef, good mix of spices. I mean, got a full thing of spice right here. There we go. And that would have been our base. Oh yeah, Kiana. I'm that's just, how it is. Just a matter of time getting yourself situated and getting things done. All right. So number 1 was chili. Number 2, hamburger steak. Kind of like a Salisbury steak, but a little bit more to the garlic side. So with rice and green beans. And of course I would have a sauce with it. Number 3 was pork tenderloin with lima beans and wild rice and a bit of a gravy for that. 4, which is the winner, pork fried rice, which we're going to do here. And number 5 was beef, which basically ground hamburger, fried and whatnot, with a little bit of onion, a little bit of spices, on top of rice with some vegetables, primarily green bean and like a curry sauce. So, but you can see right there, nobody voted for chili. 1 vote for the hamburger steak, 1 vote for the pork tenderloin. We had 9 votes for the pork fried rice, 1 vote for the beef and rice with the curry sauce. Which, of course, this is weighted No, Linda, I'll ban you if you do that because we're stuck with this now. You would do something like that, wouldn't you? But I honestly thought that more people would have chosen the pork tenderloin. A little bit of a balsamic vinegar with a bacon and spinach stuffing. I would have thought that that would have been the winner. Honestly, that's what I thought. You know, chili is simple. The hamburger steak is a little bit more complex. The pork tenderloin is probably the most gourmet of the things here. The beef and rice, super simple, thing, whatnot. But we're gonna do our little, simple recipe of pork fried rice. So we got ourselves our cooking area already set up. We have a nice little cutting board here to do any kind of real work on. We got our hot plate here. And yes, it's not on, or otherwise I wouldn't be doing that. We got our bok choy here, which we're not going to use the bok choy. We're just going to, we're just trying to rejuvenate it a little bit. We got some green onion, which we're going to use. All right, so we had made, let's see here. We bought a, everybody saw on on Facebook. Turn that down a little bit there, so hopefully you can see that. So we bought this piece of pork belly, basically where typical bacon comes from, non-salted, non-cured, raw pork belly, right? And so we cut it up, into various sizes here. We cut some cubes. We cut some fat, the fat off, and we made some lardon, which is basically little strips of fat, which we're going to use for several meals. We made a single pork roll, and we made and here we go. So we got the pork cubes. We got a small pork roll. We got the large pork roll, which I have marinating. We're going to make some char siu, which is basically a marinated pork roll, pork belly. We're going to be using for a ramen and, of course, our lardons down there in the front. So now we took some of those cubes and we marinated them in a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of garlic. So we got those going. We boiled a little bit of carrot, diced up a regular carrot. We didn't cheat and use carrot out of it, that was pre-done. We used a regular carrot. I fried a couple of eggs, or scrambled a couple of eggs, and we got a little bit of raw onion there as well. And then, of course, like I said, we're going to use some green onion here on top of that. We've had our rice out drying off a little bit because this is sticky rice. Mama Lou and Nathaniel Lee. Well, Mama Lou, like it says on the screen, pork fried rice as voted by you guys. I put it out there on the Facebook, what we're going to do. King and Queen Stacking, how you doing? So we got everything pretty much already prepped. I wanted to make this a little bit more, less of the choppy, more of the cookie. So, but I got this, I've been trying to find a decent pork belly for a while now. And because there's certain recipes I want to make that I need a piece of pork with way more fat than what I can get, just from bacon. Plus also, I don't want the bacon to be salted or, applewood or black pepper or, natural hickory or any of that stuff. I just wanted pure, unadulterated pork belly to be able to do these several dishes. So now I have 4 separate, selections, of or little portions of the lardon. Hey, Raleigh, how you doing, my friend? So I have 4 little pieces, 4 little portions of the lardon, Basically pork fat with a tiny amount of meat in there. So I can use that in 4 different meals. I have 2 separate portions of the pork belly cubes, which can go into 2 dishes. I have the small pork roll, which I can use for 2 meals. Pardon me. When all is said and done, I have the char siu, the marinated pork belly, which is going to be used for my ramen, which, I love my ramen. If you've seen the Facebook posts and what I've done before, I love my ramen. I still have 3 bundles of ramen noodles. I have some soba noodles there, which I can use a char siu for on the side. So, I have several meals just from that pork belly. I got 2.5 pounds of that. I took care of that this morning, cutting that up, butchering it. So we are good to go. So, made the rice ahead. Got my vegetables all pretty much done, except for the green onion. I want to save that for the very last. But other than that, we're good to go. So, like I said, so we got our stove here, our hot plate. We got our green onion here. Yeah, our white onion, our pre-boiled carrot, because we want that a little bit soft, but we don't want too much of a crunch because it will take too long to cook. A little bit of scrambled egg, our pork belly, which is the main focus of the dish, and the garlic and soy sauce mixture here, outstanding smelling right now. Okay, so we're going to try to be a little bit more organized back here. I got out my my little bed table, so it's fold out, little tray. So we got our knife. Got a pair of chopsticks to eat with, spoon to cook with, a bit of black pepper. We'll stick that right there for a moment. So we could do this all in one pan, but I'm going to do it in separate pans. So we got a pan here to fry the pork in separately. It just helps to make it a, just to prep it a little bit more the way I want to, a little more evenly with the wider base on this pan. And of course, we're going to finish up with our wok. We have a little bit of lid here if we need it. And we got our rice. Not a lot of rice. If I need to, I got some more. I basically got double this amount. Another portion of this off to the side if I need it. Right? So, well, why'd you put fat fingers on the phone there, Raleigh? Metal Music Maniac, how you doing, Harry? And Attitude, good to have you all here. Well, I have to disagree with you there, Metal Music Maniac. The problem with this being better than the Food Network, I'm not getting paid. Oh, also we got a little bit of garlic we're going to throw in there real quick. So we are, let's go ahead and get ourselves started. So the first thing we're going to do, turn this where we can see what we're doing here. So we're going to get that. We'll probably just leave that right there. I think it'll be fine. So we're going to get that nice and hot. Move that back out the way. Tuck this up under there just a little bit. There we go. If I can do so. There you go. Well, as good as it's going to get. Let's see here. I had a clip. We got a clip right here. Those will last just a moment. Clip that there so that doesn't get in the way. There we go. All right, so let me go ahead and hopefully the image is coming through a little bit better tonight than it was yesterday. Let's see here. So while the screen is pointed that way, we're going to try to see what's going on here with the chat. Let's see here. So we're getting that nice and hot. We really want to get that as blazing hot as I can. That seems to be coming through a little bit better. Hey, Mr. TJ Jones. How you doing, sir? Well, okay, well, that's good. That's good. All right, well, Metal Music Maniac, I was approached by a company right before all this virus crap was starting to go around, wanting to sponsor and promote their product with my channel. Of course, they had to delay that because of the virus, things slowing down. So that is something that might happen. Who knows? So we will see. All right, so we got a pan on here. You see that's starting to glow red. Put that on there. There's, all right, I'm going to get down to the little spatula here. Just be on the safe side, just in case I need it to do what I need to do. All right, so let's. All right, so simple, and simple. Now, of course, we're going to put in a bit of the old Kikkoman soy sauce. We got a little bit more. We got some black pepper there. I might throw in a little bit of crushed red pepper flake. We'll see how we feel. We will see how we feel. Mr. Welkster. Exactly, Mr. Welkster. And we're only going to bet $1 that we can change how we are. So that's getting warmer. We need, getting that blazing hot. The hotter we can get this, the better off we're going to be. So like I said, we're going to take a couple, one or two of these stalks of green onion here, and we're going to use that in our dish when we are done. Let me get out a bowl here, I think. There we go. So even though it is Chinese, Japanese, whatnot, we're going to use an Italian style bowl. Just be contrarian. All right. There we go. Let me turn the AC up there just a little bit. Now, we're going to dump a little bit of this excess liquid out here. Keep things from escaping. Because we don't want that excess liquid in there. We want to try to keep this a little bit drier. Here we go. Stick that on the floor out the way. We'll deal with that in a moment. Now we're going to get a good amount of fat out of this. Now, if you can see, the flesh, the fat, a little thing of meat, and more fat. This is almost 50% fat. Maybe just a little bit more, maybe like 55% fat. So we're gonna let that, we're gonna let that fat get nice and hot. Let it all, melt a little bit. But we want to get that color. We want to get that caramelization going on there, which is what's going to make it good. Mr. Warmke, we are in Pasco, Washington. We could have gotten in, we could not get into the Flying J that's here. It's really not a Flying J, it's like a dealer. They sell the fuel, but they don't really do much of anything else. A little sticky there. A little bit sticky. Get that nice and flat. Get that temperature up there a little bit more. And leave just it open just a little bit, letting as much moisture out as possible, but still raise that temperature. But we're at the King Truck Wash Truck Stop Restaurant parking lot, and unfortunately, because of the virus, the restaurant is shut down. You know, those people have to, they got to cut back because apparently can't get the business. But parking lot was open, so parked right here yesterday. And tomorrow we will be on our way to Oregon. So we are almost there with the pork. So we're going to put that towel right there. Move this out the way over here. I think that'll fit. There we go. There we go. All right, so get out the way there. All right. So we're going to set that right off to the side there. Like that. Now we're going to get our wok, little mini wok there set. Let's see here. Well, we got 10 on YouTube and 2 on Facebook. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Thank you much. Hey, Bonnie Maria Kilgore. Sorry, I didn't see you there. Good to have you in. Hopefully everybody is enjoying what we're doing, at least a little bit. I got some. Unfortunately, I wish I could find a smaller thing of peanut oil. That'd be better, but there you go. All right, Mr. Brad Parks, how you doing? All right, so little taste test. See a little bit of color on there, but this is mostly fat, a little bit of meat. Nice porky flavor, which is kind of what we want, right? It's pork fried rice. You should have a hint of the pork in there, which is another reason why even when I ever order from a Chinese takeout anywhere I'm at, I'm mostly disappointed. All right, we're gonna do another one here. Look at that color on there. That's beautiful color. Because they'll say it's shrimp fried rice, and there's 3 shrimp in the entire thing. You got a big, pint size or quart size container. Matt Hasselden. Yes, the votes are in. Thank you for coming on in, Matt. I do appreciate it. So our pork is done. Our pork belly is done. You see that smoke in there? We're gonna throw a little bit of oil in here. Now that we got that hot. Yeah, we should be good. We should be good there. All right. Well, we're not going to add the garlic. What the heck? So we're going to get that oil all over the sides there. Please be careful with the hot oil. Now, I really would be better off using a rice that's better suited for fried rice, something that's not as glutinous. But, you know, we can only do what we can do. Let's take our... We're going to rely a little bit on the oil to coat everything a little bit. So if we have to add a little bit more, we'll add a little bit more. Yeah, we have to add just a tad more here. Just be on the safe side. Not the typical way you want to do it, but sometimes the way you got to do it. We will have a little bit of sticking because of the nature of the rice, but other than that, it's going to be good. So let that sit for a moment. Just cover the lid on there. And I think I'll go ahead and grab me a little bit of garlic. Why not? We're just going to take 1 clove here. I think that's pretty good. Get out our knife. Right. Just got to cut the very end off where it meets the stem. Got to cut the point off. Throw that in our little trash bin there. You know, a nice little cut down there to get rid of the paper. I'll take off that outer dried up, desiccated, which then becomes a protective layer. Yep, so we got our garlic here, and we're just gonna crush it like that, have it break apart. You're just gonna lightly crush it there. Get all them oils and whatnot out, which is what gives it the flavor and gives it the quality we want. Gonna throw that right on in. Put the knife out the way. All right. Rice is getting hot. We're going to throw a little bit of black pepper in there. And yes, I'm going to throw just a couple little sprinkles of red pepper. I want a little bit spicy. There we go. Get some flavor in there. All right, so next thing we're going to throw in, we're going to throw our onion in, our raw yellow onion or white onion, whichever you want. Throw that in there a little bit. There we go, looking good. Get that onion cooked just a little bit. Right. That is excellent. I love that. Well, Kiana girl, trucker girl Kiana, I've been fighting that for a long time because everybody says I'm making them hungry, and you know, the whole point of this is to show you how you can do it yourself. All right, onion's looking good. So we're going to throw in our carrot and our egg. You know, nothing in the egg, just a little bit of butter in the pan. Stir fried it. You know, just quickly fried it up. There you go. The carrot, basically this size of carrot. You know, there's my hand. There's that size carrot, diced up, boiled to soften it up. Otherwise, you know, it wouldn't really work here at this moment. All right, so now we're going to add a little bit of the soy sauce. A little bit for the flavor, but also a little bit for the color. And also, it helps to separate the grain, the individual, you know, rice grains a little bit as well. So it's doing a couple things. You know, besides also adding some salt, which will enhance the flavor of everything. Because there is no salt in the pork here. You know, no salt in that. So, you know, unlike bacon, it's not bringing that to the table. So, all right. Now, this typically will be for about 2 people. Typically. Now, we're going to bring a little bit of fat in with that. You see the fat right there, which we're not going to be afraid of. We're going to embrace the fat. Because fat is nothing but energy. Wipe that off there real quick. All right, Mr. Carrot, you get your butt back in there. There we go. Try to get that all incorporated. Nice and even in there. All right, so we're good for that. Get our chopsticks out the way there. We have a little bit of the green onion. We're going to put two green onion in there, I think. Knife out there. Cut that in half. And we're going to cut this on a, you know, instead of cutting straight across, we're going to cut it at a very sharp angle. A, it makes it look more than it is. B, it cuts more of the fibers and more of those cells of the green onion, so a little more aromatic, but let that flavor spread a little bit more. I'm just gonna scrape that bad boy right off. There we go. Now we can turn that off. Ready? We're going to go ahead and unplug that because we don't need that plugged in anymore. There we go. And we are pretty much done. So here's our plate. Yes, it's Italian, but the biggest plate I have. Besides the little crappy ones, but this one has sides, so something they're going to fall off as much. Hey, Diana SFNG. How you doing? And no problem, Raleigh. You know, we have a good time. And I'll probably meet you over there in a little bit. So let's go ahead and plate this up here. You see we got a little bit of sticking down at the bottom, but the good thing about this particular pan, it's got a pretty good release. So we're going to scrape that off there. That's the worst part about cooking in the truck, or cooking period for yourself, is to clean up afterwards. But hey, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them all, and there you have the facts of life. And just like licking at the beater when you're making cookies or a cake, you get to lick the spoon. Alrighty. Pork fried rice. RV weekend. How you doing? Welcome on in. I do appreciate it. I mean, I do apologize. These last 2 live streams have been kind of short, but I think going the full hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes, almost 2 hours, like I have in the past, might be a little bit too long for a lot of people. So we're gonna try to keep these down a little bit shorter. But pork fried rice. Now, I would like to have some peas in here. I always like that. I didn't buy any, I thought about it, but I didn't buy any. I bought some green beans and I bought lima beans. So, but super simple. The most exotic thing that I have in the dish is the pork belly, which, like I said, I got use for the pork, a 2.5 pound pork belly for, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 8, about 14 meals coming out of that 2.5 pound pork belly that I butchered here in the truck, right here on this cutting board. If you see the Facebook post from this morning, you'll see what I did. Let's take a quick look at that again if I can pull that up. So, whoop. There we go. So 2.5 pounds of pork belly. Get that reflection off of there. There we go. So you got the pork belly cubes, some lardon down at the bottom screen, a small pork roll, which will give me 2 meals. The pork cubes will give you 2 meals, 4 portions of the lardon right there on the very bottom, and then that big pork roll on the far side. That's gonna be my char siu, which I'm gonna use when I make another ramen. So we are happy and satisfied with, it wasn't too expensive. 2.5 pounds, not that much. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our pork fry right there. We're going to put a little bit of finishing, some raw soy sauce on top. It's like most ingredients. What you're going to have is raw, what you're going to have is cooked, and what you're going to have is they can have different flavors and different qualities. So we're just going to add a little bit of this to the top. Bring a little bit more salt, a little more of that savory flavor, which is always a good thing. What everybody now recognizes as umami. General Tso's sauce. Maybe. I'm not a big General Tso fan, because it's an American thing. It's like a fortune cookie. It's American. Pamela Babcock, how you doing, ma'am? So here we go. We get a little bit of that pork in there. So we a little bit of egg and whatnot. So there we go. Just right. So that's going to satisfy me tonight. I'm going to sleep well with that. So, a little bit of water here. Now, like I said, we could use. I got some minced garlic. I got fresh garlic. I have garlic powder. However you find the best way to do any recipe. Justin Wilson. That guy was a card. Right up there with Paul Prudhomme making that Cajun Louisiana cooking. I have watched him. That's never been my. I never really big on the Cajun cuisine. There's some things that are really good there. Yeah, a good po' boy. Man, you give me a po' boy and I'll be happy. There are some dishes, learning how to make a proper roux started with watching guys like Justin Wilson, which is always a but it's always I've always tried to learn every kind of way I could. I never went to cooking school. I wanted to, but I never wanted to become a chef. I never wanted to work in a kitchen. I have, but I never wanted to work there because, like me, a lot of customers are way too picky and critical. My grandma never made it this way. then why did you come to the restaurant? Why don't you stay home and make it the way your grandma made it? You know, but like I said, I digress on that one. So we, Martin Yan, the Frugal Gourmet, Julia Child, Imro Lagasse a little bit, Mario Batali, Lydia Bastianich, several people that I watched and learned from, certain things. Now, the more technical they got, the better I liked it. Most of them were doing the super simple stuff that, that I would put on TV. But I liked it when I actually learned, a really technical, way of doing something. Man, it's making it hard to pick up. There's too much pork in here. So get some of that green pepper in there. I got green onion, sorry. Hey, Charles Brandt, how you doing? Not a problem with that, sir. More the merrier. I do appreciate it. So, pork fried rice. You can go back and watch it. It'll be on there. And, a super simple meal, done quick, and something you're typically not going to get from the store. And when you do get it from the store, you're going to be pretty much disappointed half the time. All right, so like I said, here's our pork, the piece of pork, the larger one in that picture that we rolled up. This is going to be our char siu. Basically a marinated piece of pork. We're going to slice this. I mean, I wish it were bigger, but I don't have the room for that. And I got to make the compromises. But black pepper, a little bit of garlic, and soy sauce. That's going to marinate for maybe 4 or 5 days before I start using it. I'll slice it in individual slices. Then at each individual slice, I'm going to grill, fry it in the pan real quick right before we put it in a ramen. So that's going to make my ramen even more authentic than it has been. And of course, I got ground beef. Like I said, I got a pork tenderloin. I got a nice pork tenderloin. I got the ground beef out. So we're going to be I will be making chili in about 2 days. So that will be seen on Facebook. And then, of course, for dessert, not a product placement, Reese's. I'm open for sponsorship. But we're going to have this for our dessert. So, but other than that, we are really satisfied with the food selection we have for the week. Every day, something home cooked, something a little bit different than what you can get at the stores, at the restaurants. Yeah, I mean, I would like, every once in a while, a nice piece of fish. I would like Diana says there, some short ribs. I have a couple of short rib recipes with some good Chinese hoisin sauce that knocks socks off. But it's always a question of how much room is in this refrigerator. How much can I actually leave out just to sit on the side, at room temperature? What cans can I have? Stuff like that. So, but it's always fun to make something new, to make something that I just can't get at a restaurant. The Huddle House, Waffle House, Denny's, IHOP, your typical trucker restaurant. They all pretty much got the same stuff. It's all typically mediocre. And it all comes up a lot more expensive than what I made here. I mean, the 2.5 pounds of pork roast, I think, was $11. Like around $11 for that. The guy at Albertsons in Gillette was very friendly, very helpful. I appreciate that guy. Did a good job for me. And, to be able to make a pork fried rice with that particular ingredient, an ingredient that most truck drivers and most people in a house will never use, pork belly. Most people will never use that ingredient. Crazy Shepherd, how you doing? Glad you came in at the last bit. Take another little pork fried rice. Like it says on there, with pork belly, onion, carrot, egg, touch of whimsy, which we're going to say is garlic. And, just a little bit of fun. So, nice piece of pork belly there. Lots of fat on top there. Bit of the old green pepper. A green onion, sorry. It tastes really good. If you have a good meat counter, a good meat selection at your local store, ask for those cuts of meat that you normally won't have. Backwoods P&W, how you doing, sir? Always good to see you in. But go make that, find a real butcher first, if you can. Find a real standalone quality butcher first. Then, go to your major supermarket, Kroger, Publix, Albertsons, the Piggly Wiggly, whatever you have in your area, and try to always ask for those special cuts of meat, like a pork chop with 4 or 5 ribs on it, all in one piece, and make that as one piece. Roast that all as one piece, then slice it at the table. You'll see what a great difference it makes when you're actually eating the meal. Oh, Josh, we are at the King Truck Stop Restaurant, Chrome Shop, and Truck Wash here in Pasco. Troy Flanagan, brother from another Baltimore mother. How you doing, sir? Yeah, me and Troy, we can tell you some stories about the good Baltimore food, the good Maryland food. So we got our pork fried rice. Gonna have to stub my face a little bit more. We probably have a little bit too much pork in here because it's not really holding together like it should. Well, we're still waiting to deliver our load we brought from Iowa of a John Deere 7800 tractor. We still have about 300 miles to go to get it to Skio, Oregon, which is a little bit south of Portland, a little bit east of Salem, Oregon. So once we deliver that, I have to wait for an escort because of some of the roads I got to go on. The permits that I have require me to be very specific roads, so I have to meet with an escort, a pilot car, tomorrow at about 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, whenever they can get there, to get me that final, not even 15 miles, I think, over to my delivery. So once we do that, we are done. We send in our information saying we are done. We're going to head back up to Brooks. We're heading up to Brooks, Oregon, which is, like I said, just on I-5. Still a little bit south of Portland, right up north of Salem. So not too far away, maybe 20 miles away from my delivery. Then we're going to stay there. We're going to see what we get, where we get it, and when we get it. The when is going to be the biggest issue. We more than likely will be heading up to Tacoma in Washington State on the bottom of the Puget Sound to the port. That's the most likely. Now, the second most likely we will head out to Snoqualmie, North Bend, Washington. We might be picking up some scissor lifts, some man lifts, some sky crane, type things. So we will see. We won't know until we find out. Because I recently had my previous driver manager leave the company. A little bit of kerfuffle there with pickup times, delivery times, whatnot. Information just wasn't given as it should have been. So my new manager is trying to, handle new people coming into his control, and and whatnot. So, there we go. But I may actually not stop at Brooks. I might actually go all the way up to Tumwater, Washington, backwoods. I'm sure you know where Tumwater is. Rochester, Tumwater, Chehalis, I think is another place. I might head up into that area to wait and stage and find out what's going on. A long, long time ago, when I was still a wee lad, I lived in Bremerton, Washington. Military brat, so I lived in Bremerton, Washington for 1 year. Let's see, I think that was 1979. Yeah, 1979 into 1980. Lived there for 1 year. I enjoyed it, but you're a kid. You don't have any responsibilities when you're 9 years old, 8 years old. So, I enjoyed it, and there's always one song, Jerry Rafferty's Baker Street. Every time I hear that song, that plays in my mind. It takes me right back to Bremerton, Washington, to Seattle, especially riding the ferry on Puget Sound was always a big thing. Well, Raleigh, I do appreciate that. Now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whenever the internet allows me to get up, to get online and stay online for more than 20 minutes, live stream from the road or loading and unloading, something involving work on the live stream. Then, of course, the vlogs. I still have so many to do to catch up on. I'm still working on January. But that's the nature of being on the road. You don't have the time. When you do have the time, you don't have the internet connection. So I'm always behind. But we will be doing more of those on a regular basis. The same with the weekend vlogs or the weekend cooking. Saturday will always be my choice of a meal. Sundays, we're going to do this kind of format, continuously until people get sick of it. I'll put out 5, 6 recipes, and I will, we will write them down. We'll take the vote counts as we go along in the same format, and then we will, when the votes come in, Saturday night, and we can get started, get things a little bit prepared. We can have a nice, easy conversation while we cook. So, pork fried rice tonight. Simple, simple, simple. I thank you all very much for coming in. So, Roland Keith from, if I remember right, beautiful old Queensland, backwoods PMW, up to where we may be going, just a little bit north of me. I'm in Pasco, Washington, so he's off on the coast. I'm on the inland side. We are not too far away from the state of Oregon. We're going to be going down the Columbia River Gorge tomorrow. I'll try to get some of that on the live stream tomorrow. The border between Washington State and Oregon, we're going to be shadowing the river for a little bit. We'll try to get some of that on the live stream tomorrow, I think. Troy Flanagan, hopefully, well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know where you are right now, but maybe we can meet up. Be my pleasure, my honor, sir. Josh Warmke, from the good old Canada, if I remember correctly. Crazy Shepherd. Diana SF&G. Jeff Wright, I do apologize. I did not see you there. welcome, sir. Thank you very much for coming. Pork belly burnt ends. You got me thinking now. You got me thinking. I think I spit out a piece of rice. Sorry. I might have to try that. I'm gonna steal that recipe from you, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna try that. Mr. Charles Brandt. Let's see who else. Linda Barker, always a pleasure. TJ Jones. RV Weekends. I want to see some cooking from you two, by the campfire. I want to see what you guys can come up with. Bonnie Marie Kilgore, always good to have you. Thank you for coming in. Pamela Babcock, always a pleasure, my friend. Margaret Clark, always a pleasure. Let's see, Trucker Girl Kiana. Can't wait to see you back on the road here shortly and looking for some of them live streams and some of the cooking that you're going to do in the truck. Bobby Collar. I am so sorry, ma'am. I did not see you. Thank you very much for coming in. I do appreciate it. Matt Hasselden. Thank you, sir. Mr. Brad Parks. Mr. Welker. I will talk to you on Monday. Metal Music Maniac, Harry. Always a good time with you. Mama Lou. Thank you very much. Attitude. Thank you, sir. King Queen Stacking. Nathaniel Lee. Thank you much, sir. Appreciate it. Always good to have you. Always reliable. And Shelly Michelle. Unfortunately, Shelly, you got your vote in at the last possible time. So, 9 votes. You can see the count right there. Those were the counts by the end of Saturday. This morning, I put one in there for number 5. Number 1 got no vote at all. No chili. Hamburger steak, 1 vote. Pork tenderloin, 1 vote. Fried rice, 9. And the beef on rice with a little bit of curry sauce got 1. So, thank you all very, very much for coming. Jesse Miller Unboxes and More. Another Marylander, Delawarean, Mid-Atlantic friend of mine. Always a pleasure to have you. Next time I'm in the area, we'll see if we can't have a meetup and maybe make a little bit of dinner like we made tonight. So thank you all very much for coming in. I greatly appreciate it. I value every one of you for giving me your valuable time and your consideration and always your kind words and even your unkind words. I'll take anything I can get. So, pork fried rice tonight was definitely a good choice. Thank you, everybody who voted. Even those of you who voted for the wrong thing, quote unquote. But pork fried rice seemed to be, the one people wanted, so that's what we did. The next week, I will have 5 more recipes. I'm not going to do the same 5 as here. We will figure out something entirely new. Now, if you all have a recipe that you would like to see me attempt, please put that on Facebook when I post the announcement of what I want to put out there. Shoot me a quick message, either on email, thistruckerslife@gmail.com. Send me a message there of what you would like to see. If you have a particular recipe you would like me to try, and I'm up for almost anything. Almost anything. Liver and onions? No. Brussels sprouts? No. Watermelon? No. I will try almost anything else if I can get the ingredients. So, those are the only rules I have. I'm not snorting cocaine. Well, no, if it's got the right flavor. No, I can't really cook with alcohol in the truck, so we gotta leave that out of the recipes whenever we do. So you got to take that into account. Not because of my restriction, government restrictions. I cannot bring alcohol into the truck even when I'm cooking with it, not just straight drinking it. So once again, thank you very much all for coming. I do appreciate that. God bless, and hopefully see some of you Monday when we drive on the Columbia River Gorge for some live driving footage. Wednesday and Friday, also driving, working in one form or another. Saturday, it's going to be a meal of my choice. I don't know what I'm going to do. That's 6 days away. We'll see how I feel, what I want to do. It may be chili. It may be, pork tenderloin. Who knows what I'm going to do? We'll figure it out there. Maybe something simple as grilled cheese sandwich and a tomato soup. We will see. So thank you all very much for coming in. I do appreciate it. Once again, God bless, and we will see you all later.